Here's the thing about being the responsible daughter. Nobody asks if you want to be. They just assume. They assume because you show up, because you don't complain, because you learned early that the only way to get a scrap of their attention was to be useful, to be quiet, to be the one who fixed things while your sister broke them, to be the one who cleaned up the mess while she made new ones. My name is Nora. I'm 26 years old now, but when this story begins, I was 24. I was finishing my master's degree in occupational therapy. I was engaged to a man named Mark, who had kind eyes and a steady job and a family that actually seemed to like each other. I was planning a future that finally felt like mine. Not my parents, not my sisters.
Mine.
Then my sister, Hannah, got pregnant. She was 22. She wasn't married. She wasn't in a relationship. She wasn't ready to be a mother. She said so herself, repeatedly, loudly, with tears and tantrums and doors slammed so hard the pictures on the walls rattled. "I can't do this," she sobbed on the couch. Her face was swollen. Her eyes were red. Her hands were wrapped around her stomach, like she was trying to hold herself together. "I can't be a mother. I'm not ready. I don't want this. I never wanted this." My mother held her hand. My father stood in the corner, silent, the way he always stood. He was a spectator in his own family, a witness to his wife's decisions, a ghost in his own house. "We'll figure it out," my mother said. "We always do."
That's when they looked at me.
Welcome to everyday drama. Get comfortable. Grab your coffee. The people in this story had every chance to do the right thing. They just didn't. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the final part. My sister Hannah is 2 years younger than me. She has always been the center of my parents' universe. When we were children, she got the new clothes. I got her hand-me-downs, the ones with the stains and the rips. She got the car when she turned 16. I got the bus pass. She got the applause at school events. I got the chores at home. I didn't resent her. Not really. Resentment would have required energy I didn't have. I just accepted that this was how things were. Hannah was the sun. I was the moon. I reflected her light and asked for nothing in return. That was my role. That was my purpose. That was my life. But when she got pregnant, something shifted. Not in her. She remained the same, self-centered, dramatic, incapable of facing consequences. The shift was in my parents. They saw an opportunity, a solution, a way to fix Hannah's problem without inconveniencing Hannah. "You're getting married soon," my mother said. We were sitting in the living room. The same living room where I had watched Saturday morning cartoons. The same living room where I had cried when my first boyfriend broke up with me. The same living room where my mother had told me I was too sensitive and too dramatic and too much. "You'll have a home, a husband, stability." "My fiancé is Mark," I said. "He has a name." "Mark, yes. He's a good man. He'll understand." "Understand what?" They looked at each other. My father cleared his throat. My mother took a breath, the kind of breath people take before they say something they know you won't want to hear. "We want you to take the baby." The room went quiet. Even the clock on the wall seemed to stop ticking. "What?" "The baby. Hannah's baby. We want you to raise it." I laughed. I couldn't help it. It was the only response that made sense. The sound that came out of me was sharp and hollow, like a stone hitting glass. "You're joking." "We're not joking." "You want me to raise my sister's baby? As if it's mine? As if I carried it? As if I gave birth to it? As if it's yours? You'll be married. You'll have a family. No one will question it. You and Mark are stable. You have a future. Hannah doesn't. Not yet. And Hannah? Hannah will go back to school. She'll finish her degree. She'll have her life back. This is just a detour for her. A mistake. We all make mistakes." I looked at Hannah. She was sitting on the couch, her hand on her belly, her eyes fixed on the floor. She didn't look up. She didn't say anything. She just sat there letting my parents do what she had always let them do. Fight her battles. Clean her messes. Sacrifice her sister. "Hannah, say something." She didn't. "Hannah, look at me." She looked up. Her eyes were wet. "I can't do it, Nora. I can't be a mother. I'll ruin the baby's life." I'll ruin my life. I'll ruin everything. So, you want me to ruin mine instead? That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you meant. I'm not raising your baby, I said. I stood up. My chair scraped against the floor. I'm not. I'm 24 years old. I'm about to start my career. I'm about to get married. I'm not ready to be a mother to a child that isn't mine. I don't want to be a mother to a child that isn't mine. You'll be ready, my mother said. You've always been ready. You're the responsible one. You're the one who plans. You're the one who thinks ahead. Hannah doesn't have those skills. She needs help. Being responsible doesn't mean I have to raise someone else's child. Family takes care of family. Those words, those 4 words, I had heard them my whole life. Family takes care of family. They meant I gave. I sacrificed. I disappeared. They meant my needs came last. They meant my wants were irrelevant. They meant my life was not my own. Family takes care of family, my mother repeated. That's what we do. That's who we are. No, I said. That's what I do. Hannah doesn't take care of anyone. Hannah doesn't sacrifice anything. Hannah doesn't even say thank you. She just takes.
She's always taken.
And you've always let her. Don't be cruel. I'm not being cruel. I'm being honest. Something no one in this family has ever been.
Not you.
Not Dad. Not Hannah. None of you. I walked out. I didn't slam the door. I closed it quietly. I wanted them to hear the silence. I wanted them to feel the absence. I drove to Mark's apartment. I sat in his living room and cried for an hour. He held me. He didn't ask questions. He didn't offer solutions. He just held me. The pressure didn't stop. It got worse. My mother called every day. Sometimes twice. Sometimes 3 times. She cried. She pleaded. She told me I was being selfish. She told me I was destroying the family. She told me that Hannah would never recover if she had to raise this child. That Hannah would drop out of school. That Hannah would lose her scholarship. That Hannah would end up on the streets. That Hannah would die. Hannah made a choice, I said. She chose to have sex. She chose to not use protection. She chose to keep the baby. Those were her choices, not mine. She was reckless. You've always been careful. You've always thought about the future. You've always been the smart one. So, because I'm careful, I have to pay for her recklessness? Because I think about the future, I have to give up mine? Family takes care of family. There it is again. Those words. They don't mean what you think they mean. They mean exactly what I think they mean. We help each other. We sacrifice for each other. We put each other first. Not when the sacrifice is my entire life. Not when the sacrifice is my future. Not when the sacrifice is my marriage, my career, my sanity. You're being dramatic. I'm being honest. My father called. He never called. He was the silent one. The one who stood in the corner and let my mother do the talking. The one who watched and said nothing. The one whose silence was its own form of cruelty. Nora, your mother is beside herself. I know, Dad. She can't eat. She can't sleep. She's worried about Hannah. She's worried about the baby. She's worried about you. She should be worried about herself. Can't you just help? I am helping. I'm helping by saying no. I'm helping by not enabling her. I'm helping by letting Hannah face the consequences of her own actions for the first time in her life. She's your sister.
She's not my child.
This baby is not my responsibility. I didn't get pregnant. I didn't choose to keep the baby. I didn't do any of this. He didn't have an answer. He never did. Mark was my anchor. He listened. He held me. He told me I wasn't crazy. He told me I wasn't selfish. He told me I wasn't a bad person. You're not the one who should feel guilty, he said.
They are. Hannah is.
Your parents are. They created this situation. They're responsible for it.
Not you.
They don't feel guilty. They never do. That's the problem. They think they're right. They think they're being noble. They think family is about sacrifice, but only my sacrifice. Never Hannah's. Never theirs. Then don't carry their guilt. It's not yours to carry. It's not your weight to bear. You've been carrying them your whole life. It's time to put it down. I tried to believe him. I tried to let go. I tried to convince myself that I could walk away, that I could say no, that I could choose myself for once. But my mother's voice was in my head. Family takes care of family. You're the responsible one. Hannah can't do this alone. The guilt was a weight on my chest. A weight I had been carrying my whole life. A weight I didn't know how to put down. The breaking point came 2 months before Hannah's due date. My parents showed up at my apartment. Unannounced. Both of them. My mother was carrying a leather folder. My father was carrying his silence. "Can we come in?" my mother asked. "I don't have a choice, do I? We're your parents. You always have a choice." I stepped aside. They walked into my apartment. My mother looked around. She had never liked my apartment. It was too small. Too far from her. Too independent. "We have a proposal," she said. "I don't want your proposal. Just listen." She sat down on my couch. She opened the folder. Inside were legal documents, adoption papers, dozens of pages, small print, signatures required. "We've talked to a lawyer," she said. "He says you can adopt the baby. It would be a private adoption. Within the family. No one would have to know." "Know what?" "That Hannah is the birth mother. That the baby isn't yours." "You want me to lie? To everyone? For the rest of my life. We want you to help. We want you to save your sister's future. We want you to give this baby a home." "I have a home. I have a future. I have a life. I don't want to add a baby to it right now. Not like this. Not under these circumstances." "You can do it. We know you can." Can you hear yourselves? You're asking me to commit fraud. You're asking me to raise a child that isn't mine. You're asking me to lie to my fiancé, to my friends, to everyone I know. Mark will understand. He loves you. He'll support you. You don't know that. You don't know him. You've never bothered to know him. We know enough. My father spoke. His voice was quiet, heavier than usual. He sounded old. He sounded tired. He sounded like a man who had spent his whole life being silent and was finally speaking, but the words came out wrong. "Nora, if you don't do this, Hannah is going to drop out of school. She's going to lose her scholarship. She's going to ruin her future. She'll never recover." "What about my future?" "You'll be fine. You've always been fine. You're strong. You're resilient. You'll figure it out. You always do." I was strong because I had to be. Because no one else was going to be strong for me. Because my parents had spent my whole life being strong for Hannah, and there was nothing left for me. I looked at Hannah's name on the adoption papers. I looked at the line where my name was supposed to go. I looked at my mother's desperate eyes. I looked at my father's tired face. "I'll think about it," I said. "Don't think too long. The baby is coming soon." I thought about it. I thought about my sister, about her tears, about her fear, about the baby she didn't want, about the life she was so desperate to keep. I thought about my parents, about their desperation, about their willingness to sacrifice me to save her, about their blindness to the damage they were doing. I thought about myself, about my wedding, about my career, about the life I had planned, about the years I had spent building something that was mine. And then I thought about the baby, an innocent child, a child who deserved to be loved, a child who had done nothing wrong, a child who would grow up without a mother if I said no, a child who would be raised by my parents, who had already ruined 2 children and would surely ruin a third. I thought about the baby's eyes. I hadn't seen them yet. I didn't know what color they would be. I didn't know if she would look like Hannah or like me. I signed the papers. The adoption was finalized 6 weeks after the baby was born. I remember sitting in the lawyer's office, holding my new daughter, my sister's daughter, in my arms. She was tiny, 7 pounds, 6 ounces. Dark hair like mine. Eyes that hadn't decided on a color yet. She smelled like milk and baby powder and possibility. She smelled like the future I hadn't planned and the weight I hadn't asked to carry. My mother sat across from me, beaming. My father sat next to her, silent. Hannah was not there. She had gone back to school the week after the birth. She didn't come to the adoption hearing. She didn't come to the lawyer's office. She didn't come at all. She was already gone, already free, already living the life I was supposed to be living. "You're doing the right thing," my mother said. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My throat was tight. My chest was heavy. The baby squirmed in my arms, unaware that her entire future had just been decided by people who saw her as a problem to be solved. The judge asked me questions. Did I understand the responsibilities of adoption? Did I have the financial means to support a child? Did I understand that this was a permanent, legal, irrevocable decision? Did I understand that I would be this child's mother in the eyes of the law, forever? I answered yes to each question. My voice was steady. My hands were not. The judge signed the papers. The adoption was final. I had a daughter. Her name was Lily. My sister's daughter. My parents' granddaughter. My secret. My burden. My heart. Mark was waiting for me outside the courthouse. He had taken the day off work. He was wearing a suit I had never seen before, one he must have bought for this occasion, one he would probably never wear again. "How did it go?" he asked. "It's done. Are you okay?" "I don't know." He hugged me. Lily squirmed between us, letting out a small cry of protest at being pressed between two adults. "We'll figure this out," he said. "Together." I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe that love could fix what was broken. I wanted to believe that the lie we were living would somehow become the truth over time, like a river wearing down a stone. But I knew better. I had always known better. The first year was the hardest. Lily was a good baby. She slept through the night.
She ate well.
She smiled when I walked into the room. She cried when I left. She was mine in every way that mattered, even though she wasn't. The love I felt for her was real. It was fierce. It was terrifying. My mother came to visit every week. She brought clothes. She brought toys. She brought advice I hadn't asked for. "You're holding her too much," she said. "You're spoiling her." "You can't spoil a baby, Mom." "You can." I read an article in a parenting magazine. "You need to let her cry sometimes. It builds character." "She's 3 months old, Mom. She doesn't need character. She needs to be held." Suit yourself. I didn't argue. I just took my daughter and went into the other room. It was easier than fighting. It was always easier than fighting. My mother didn't understand. She couldn't. She saw Lily as a problem that had been solved, a crisis that had been averted, a scandal that had been hidden. She didn't see Lily as a person. She didn't see her as a child who would one day ask questions. She didn't see her as a future adult who would deserve the truth. Mark was exhausted. He loved Lily.
He did.
He fed her and changed her and rocked her to sleep when I was too tired to move. But the lie was wearing on him. I could see it in his eyes. I could feel it in the distance between us in bed at night. "I can't keep pretending," he said one night. We were lying in the dark. Lily was asleep in the nursery. The monitor was on. Her breathing was steady. Pretending what? Pretending that everything is normal. It's not normal, Nora. Your parents forced you to adopt your sister's baby. Your sister is out living her life like nothing happened. She's in classes. She's making friends. She's probably dating. And we're here, raising her child, lying to everyone we know. What do you want me to do? I want you to tell the truth. I can't. The adoption is legal. Hannah signed away her rights. If I tell the truth, I could lose Lily. You wouldn't lose her. You're her mother now. Am I? Legally, yes. But biologically, biology doesn't matter. You've raised her. You've loved her. She calls you Mama. You're her mother. I know. But I'm also a liar. Every day I lie to people. To my friends. To my coworkers. To strangers at the grocery store. I tell them she's mine. I tell them I carried her. I tell them I gave birth to her.
That's not a small lie, Mark.
That's a big one. Mark didn't have an answer for that. He just reached over and held my hand. The second year was harder. Lily started walking. She started talking. She started asking questions. "Mama," she said, reaching for me. "Mama," I repeated, pointing to myself. She smiled.
"Mama."
I cried. Not because I was sad. Because I was terrified. Because she was calling me Mama and I wasn't. Not really. Not biologically. Not truthfully. But I was the one who was there. The one who changed her diapers. The one who held her when she was sick. The one who read her bedtime stories. I was the one who loved her. My mother came to visit less often. Hannah was graduating soon.
My mother was focused on that. The party, the dress, the guest list, the cake,
the speeches. You should come, my mother said. We were on the phone. Lily was playing on the floor with blocks. To graduation? To the party after. It's a big deal. Hannah worked hard. She deserves to be celebrated. So did I. I finished my master's degree while raising her baby. I graduated with honors. I didn't get a party. That was different.
Why?
Because I didn't have a party? Because I didn't get applause? Because I wasn't Hannah? Because you're not Hannah. Those words. For words that summed up my entire life. You're not Hannah. I was not the golden child. I was not the one who mattered. I was not the one who got the parties and the applause and the love. I was the one who cleaned up the messes. I was the one who sacrificed. I was the one who disappeared. Maybe I won't come, I said. You should. For the family. The family. Right. I mean it, Nora. Everyone will be there. Aunts, uncles, cousins. People you haven't seen in years. They want to see you. They want to meet Lily. They want to see Hannah graduate. They want to see both of you. I didn't believe her. But I didn't argue. I never argued anymore. I just said okay and hung up. Hannah came to visit twice that year. Once for Christmas. Once for Easter. She brought gifts. Expensive ones. Toys Lily didn't need. Clothes Lily would outgrow in a month. She took pictures. Dozens of them. She posted them on social media. With my beautiful niece. She held Lily for exactly 3 minutes each time, long enough for my mother to capture the image, long enough to post online, long enough to pretend. She's so cute, Hannah said. She looks like you. She looks like you. She has your eyes. Hannah's face flickered. Something passed behind her eyes. Guilt? Fear? Regret? I couldn't tell. She handed Lily back to me. Don't say that. Say what? Don't say she looks like me. Don't remind me. Remind you of what? Of what I did. Of what I gave up. You didn't give her up. I took her. There's a difference. I signed the papers. Because Mom and Dad told you to. Because they told you it was the only way. Because they told you that you couldn't be a mother and a student at the same time. They were right. Were they? You're graduating. You're about to start your career. You have a boyfriend. You have a life. You have everything you wanted. I have nothing. I have a daughter I never see. You chose that. You chose to walk away. Hannah didn't answer. She walked away. She didn't visit again. The third year was the year everything fell apart. Lily was 3 years old. She was smart and funny and stubborn. She looked like Hannah. Everyone noticed. Friends. Co-workers. Strangers at the grocery store. The mailman. The barista. The woman at the playground. She looks just like you, they said. Thank you, I said. Does her father have the same coloring? Yes, I lied. I lied so often that I started to believe it. I convinced myself that Lily was mine. That the adoption was a formality. That biology didn't matter. That love was enough. I had to believe it. Because the alternative was unbearable. But I knew the truth. And the truth was eating me alive. It was a parasite in my chest, growing larger every day, feeding on my guilt and my fear and my shame. Mark noticed. He saw the way I tensed when someone asked about Lily's eyes. He saw the way I changed the subject when someone asked about the pregnancy. He saw the way I avoided mirrors, avoided photographs, avoided anything that reminded me of the lie. We need to talk, he said. About what? About Hannah's graduation. What about it? Your mother called. She wants us to come. She wants Lily to come. Why? Because she wants to show her off. The perfect family. The happy ending. The miracle of sisterly love. I don't want to go. I know, but I think you should. Why? Because you need to see them. You need to see how they behave when they think they've gotten away with it. You need to see how they look at you, how they talk to you, how they treat Lily. I already know how they behave. Then go for closure. Go to remind yourself why you don't owe them anything. Go to remind yourself that you are not the problem.
They are.
I decided to go. I told my mother we would attend the graduation party. She was thrilled. Her voice was high and excited, like a child who had just been told she was getting a pony. "We're so excited," she said. "The whole family will be there. Everyone wants to see Lily. Everyone wants to see you. Everyone wants to see Hannah graduate. They want to see both of you. You're her sister. You're part of this. You've always been part of this." I didn't believe her. But I didn't argue. Mark took the day off work. We dressed Lily in a new dress, white with yellow flowers, one I had bought at a boutique downtown. We drove to my parents' house, the house I grew up in, the house where I learned that I was second, the house where I learned that love was conditional. The party was in the backyard, a tent, tables with white tablecloths, flowers everywhere, a cake with Hannah's name on it in gold letters, a banner that said, "Congratulations, Hannah." Hannah was standing by the cake, accepting congratulations. She looked happy,
Carefree.
like she had never made a mistake in her life. She was wearing a white dress, high heels, pearls. She looked like a bride. She looked like the center of the universe. My mother saw us.
She waved.
She walked over. She was wearing a blue dress, her hair done, her makeup perfect. She looked like she was attending a wedding, not a graduation party. "Lily, come here, sweetheart." Lily hid behind my legs. She had never been comfortable with my mother. She sensed something I couldn't name. "She's shy," I said. "She'll warm up." My mother took Lily's hand. Lily cried. My mother didn't let go. "She just needs to get used to me. She needs you to let go." My mother ignored me. She led Lily to the cake. She posed for pictures. She smiled like a grandmother who had never done anything wrong. I stood in the corner, watching. The speeches began. My father spoke first. He talked about how proud he was of Hannah, how she had overcome so much, how she was an inspiration to everyone who knew her. He didn't mention me. He didn't mention Lily. He didn't mention the adoption. He just talked about Hannah. Hannah's friends spoke. Her professors spoke. Her boyfriend spoke. Everyone had something nice to say. Everyone was proud of her. Everyone was celebrating her. Then my mother stood up. She didn't have notes. She didn't need them. She had been preparing this speech for weeks. I could see it in her eyes. "I have something to say," she said. The crowd quieted. The clinking of glasses stopped. The laughter faded. "Most of you know Hannah as a brilliant student, a devoted daughter, a wonderful person. But you don't know the whole story." My heart stopped. "You don't know that Hannah made a sacrifice that no one should have to make." Hannah's face was pale. She knew what was coming. She had been in on it. They had planned this together. 7 years ago, Hannah got pregnant. The crowd murmured. People shifted in their seats. She was young. She was scared. She was alone. My mother looked at me. But her sister, Nora, stepped up. Nora adopted the baby. She raised the baby. She gave Hannah the chance to finish school, to build a life, to become the woman she is today. The crowd turned to look at me. Their eyes were on me, on Lily, on the child in my arms. "And now," my mother said, raising her glass, "we want to thank Nora for her sacrifice, for her love, for being the sister that every girl deserves." She raised her glass higher. "To Nora." The crowd echoed. "To Nora." I stood in the corner, holding Lily, surrounded by people who had no idea what they were celebrating. They thought I was a hero. They thought I had volunteered. They thought I had done this out of love. They didn't know I had been forced. They didn't know I had been blackmailed. They didn't know that Hannah had never wanted Lily, that my parents had manipulated me, that I had signed the papers because I was afraid of losing my family. I looked at my mother. She was smiling. She had won. She had told her version of the story. She had made herself the hero. She had made me the martyr. She had erased everything that had really happened. But she had made one mistake. She had told the truth in front of 100 people. She had admitted that Hannah was Lily's birth mother. She had confirmed everything I had been hiding. And the truth, once spoken, cannot be taken back. The room was frozen. 100 people sat in white chairs under the tent, their glasses still raised, their eyes still on me. The ice was melting in their drinks. The cake was sweating in the June heat. The flowers were wilting in their vases. My mother's toast hung in the air like smoke, like poison, like a lie dressed up as love. To Nora. The words echoed in my ears, around my skull, through the hollow space where my heart used to be. She had said my name. She had raised her glass to me. She had made me the hero of her story. The martyr. The saint. The sister who gave everything so Hannah could have everything. I stood in the corner, holding Lily. She was 3 years old. She was wearing a white dress with yellow flowers. Her dark hair was pulled back in a ribbon. She didn't understand what was happening. She was looking at the balloons, at the cake, at the strangers who kept staring at her. She was looking for something familiar, something safe, something that felt like home.
She was looking at me.
My mother was still smiling. She thought she had done something good.
She thought she had honored me.
She thought she had told the truth in a way that made everyone look generous and loving and noble. In her mind, she was the hero. The mother who had orchestrated this miracle. The matriarch who had held the family together. She had not held anything together.
She had broken me.
She had broken Mark. She had broken her own granddaughter, who would one day learn the truth about where she came from. She had broken everything. She had told a lie wrapped in the truth. Yes, I had adopted Lily. Yes, Hannah was the birth mother. Yes, I had raised her. Yes, I had sacrificed. But my mother had left out the most important part. The part where I didn't have a choice. The part where I was forced. The part where I was manipulated and guilted and blackmailed and emotionally bulldozed into signing those papers. The part where I sat in my apartment for 3 days, crying, unable to eat, unable to sleep, unable to see a way out. The part where Mark held me and told me we could say no, and I told him we couldn't because if we said no, my family would never forgive us. I looked at Hannah. She was standing by the cake, her hands clasped in front of her, her face pale as old paper. She knew what was coming. She could see it in my eyes. She had always been able to see it. We had grown up in the same house. We had shared the same bathroom. We had fought over the same toys. We had the same memories of our mother's moods, our father's silences, the same unspoken understanding that Hannah was the favorite and I was the afterthought. "Mom," she whispered. Her voice was small, barely audible over the hum of conversation. "Mom, stop." "Stop what?" my mother asked. She was still beaming. She didn't understand what was happening. She never did. "Stop talking. Stop toasting. Stop." "Don't what?" Hannah didn't answer. She looked at me. Her eyes were pleading, begging me to stay silent, begging me to protect her one more time, begging me to swallow my truth so she could keep her version of the story. I didn't care. I walked to the front of the room. I set Lily down next to Mark, who was sitting in the front row, his face unreadable. He had been preparing for this moment for 3 years. He had watched me cry. He had watched me lie. He had watched me disappear into a role I never wanted. He was ready. I took the microphone. "My name is Nora," I said. My voice was steady. I had practiced this speech in my head 1,000 times. In the shower. In the car. In the dark, while Lily slept, while Mark snored beside me. "I'm Hannah's sister. I'm Lily's mother. And I have something to say." My mother's smile faltered. The corners of her mouth drooped. The light in her eyes dimmed. "Nora, what are you doing?" "Telling the truth, Mom. Since you won't." I just told the truth. I told everyone how you stepped up, how you helped, how you saved this family.
No.
You told your version of the truth. The version where you're the hero. The version where Hannah is the innocent victim. The version where I'm the grateful saint who volunteered for this. Now, I'm going to tell my version. The real version. The room was quiet. 100 people watched. 100 people waited. The only sound was the buzzing of a fly trapped against the window of the tent. 3 years ago, Hannah got pregnant. She was 22 years old. She wasn't ready to be a mother. She said so herself. She cried about it. She screamed about it. She begged my parents to help her. She told them she couldn't do it. She told them she would rather die than be a mother. I looked at my mother. And they did help her. They helped her by coming to me. They sat in my living room and told me that if I didn't adopt the baby, Hannah would drop out of school. She'd lose her scholarship. She'd ruin her future. She'd end up on the streets.
She'd die.
They told me that I was the responsible one, that I was strong, that I was resilient, that I could handle it. My mother's face was pale. The color had drained from her cheeks like water from a sink. She looked like she was going to be sick. They didn't ask me. I continued.
They told me.
They didn't give me a choice. They gave me an ultimatum. Adopt the baby, or your sister's life is ruined. Adopt the baby, or the family falls apart. Adopt the baby, or you're the reason Hannah fails. My father stood up. His chair scraped against the concrete floor. The sound was sharp and ugly, like nails on a chalkboard. Nora, that's enough. It's not enough, Dad. It's never been enough. You've spent your whole life being silent. You've spent your whole life standing in the corner while Mom did and said whatever she wanted. You've spent your whole life watching her sacrifice me to save Hannah. Let me speak for once. Let me finish. He sat down. He didn't argue. He never did. I didn't want to adopt this baby. I was 24 years old. I was about to get married. I was about to start my career. I had spent 5 years building a future that was finally mine. I was not ready to be a mother. Not to a child that wasn't mine. Not to a child that was conceived in circumstances like this. Not to a child that Hannah didn't want. The crowd was shifting. People were whispering. Aunts leaned toward aunts. Cousins exchanged glances. Friends of the family pretended not to hear. But I signed the papers anyway. Because my parents told me that if I didn't, I would be destroying the family. Because they told me that Hannah's future was more important than mine. Because they told me that family takes care of family. And I believed them. I was 24 years old. I still believed that my parents loved me. I still believed that they would never hurt me on purpose. I looked at Hannah. And Hannah let them. She sat on the couch and cried, and let them do the dirty work. She didn't once say, "No, Mom. Don't ask Nora to do this." She didn't once say, "I'll keep my baby. I'll figure it out. I'll grow up." She didn't once take responsibility for her own actions. She just cried and waited for someone else to fix the problem. Hannah was crying now. Real tears. Not the performance tears she had learned from our mother. Not the practice sobs she used to get what she wanted. Something deeper. Something uglier. Something that looked like shame. I raised Lily for 3 years. I love her. She's my daughter in every way that matters. The law says she's mine. The judge says she's mine. Her birth certificate says I'm her mother. But I didn't choose this. I was forced into it. And every day, I have to live with the consequences of someone else's choices. Every day, I have to look at my daughter and remember that she wasn't supposed to be mine. Every day, I have to lie to her. Every day, I have to wonder when she'll find out the truth. I turned to my mother. So when you toast me, Mom, don't toast me for being a hero. Toast me for being a victim. Toast me for being someone who was sacrificed so Hannah could have her life back. Toast me for being the daughter you never wanted, the daughter you were always willing to throw away. My mother stood up. Her chair wobbled. She grabbed the edge of the table to steady herself. How dare you? How dare I? How dare you? How dare you stand in front of 100 people and pretend that I volunteered for this? How dare you make yourself the hero of a story where you're the villain? How dare you toast me like I'm some kind of saint when you're the reason I had to sacrifice everything? I did what was best for this family.
No.
You did what was easiest for you. What was best for Hannah. What required the least amount of effort. You didn't want to raise another child. You didn't want to deal with the scandal of an unmarried daughter with a baby. You didn't want to explain to your friends at church that Hannah had made a mistake. You wanted the problem to go away. And I was the solution. I was always the solution. That's not true. It is true. You know it. Dad knows it. Hannah knows it. Everyone in this room knows it now. You've spent your whole life sacrificing me for her. I was the one who gave up my room so she could have the bigger one. I was the one who got hand-me-downs while she got new clothes. I was the one who took the bus while she got a car. I was the one who worked 3 jobs to pay for college while she partied on your dime. And when she got pregnant, I was the one who gave up my future so she could keep hers. My mother was crying now. Real tears. Ugly tears. You're destroying this family. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just telling the truth. The family was already destroyed. You just didn't want anyone to know. I took a breath. I looked at the crowd. My sister is graduating today. She deserves to be celebrated. She worked hard. She earned her degree. She did what she was supposed to do. But don't let my mother's toast fool you. The person who made her graduation possible is me. And I didn't do it out of love. I did it out of obligation. I did it out of fear. I did it because I was told I had no other choice. I did it because I was 24 years old, and I still believed that if I said no, you would stop loving me. Hannah stepped forward. She was shaking. Her hands were trembling. Her voice was barely a whisper. Nora, please. Please what? Please stop telling the truth? Please let you pretend that everything is fine? Please go back to being invisible so you can keep being the star?
No.
Please forgive me. Forgive you for what? For getting pregnant? You can't control that. Biology happens. Accidents happen. Forgive you for letting our parents bully me into adopting your baby? That I can control. That was a choice. Your choice. Their choice. And I'm not ready to forgive any of you. I'm sorry. You're sorry now. You're sorry because there are 100 people watching. You're sorry because your reputation is at stake. You're sorry because your friends are staring at you like you're a monster. But you weren't sorry 3 years ago. You weren't sorry when you handed me your baby in the hospital and walked away without looking back. You weren't sorry when you posted pictures of your new life on Instagram while I was up all night with a colicky infant. You weren't sorry when you called mom to complain about your professors while I was trying to finish my master's degree with a toddler on my hip. I was scared. So was I. The difference is I stayed. You left. I faced the consequences of your actions. You ran away from them. My mother tried to interrupt again. She was standing now, her hands on the table, her face blotchy and red. This is not the time or the place. It's the perfect time and place, Mom. 100 witnesses. 100 people who finally know the truth. 100 people who can't pretend anymore. You spent 13 years sabotaging my milestones. My high school graduation. My college graduation. My first promotion. My engagement. Every time I was happy, you showed up to plant doubt. Every time I succeeded, you reminded me that I wasn't good enough. This is my milestone now. This is my moment. And you're not going to take it from me. I turned to the crowd. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for celebrating Hannah's achievement. She did earn her degree, and I did help her earn it. But don't confuse my sacrifice with love. Don't confuse my silence with consent. Don't confuse my presence here today with forgiveness. I set the microphone down. The sound of it hitting the table echoed through the tent. A small, final, definitive click. I walked back to Mark. I picked up Lily. She was heavy in my arms, heavier than she had been 3 years ago, heavier than the weight of the secret I had been carrying. And I walked out. My mother called after me. Her voice was shrill, desperate, broken. Nora. Nora, come back. We can talk about this. My father stood frozen. His hands were at his sides. His mouth was open. No sound came out. Hannah was crying. Her boyfriend was holding her. Her friends were looking at her like they didn't recognize her. No one followed. Mark drove. I sat in the passenger seat, holding Lily, staring out the window. The countryside blurred past. Fields. Fences. Houses. Lives that weren't mine. Lives I might have lived if I had said no 3 years ago. Are you okay? Mark asked. I don't know. That was brave. It was necessary. Either way, you did it. You told the truth. The truth doesn't set you free, Mark. It just makes you a target. It just makes you a liar in a different way. He didn't have an answer for that. My phone buzzed for the next 3 hours. Texts from relatives. Calls from friends. Messages from people I hadn't spoken to in years. My mother's sister, Aunt Carol, who had always been kind to me but had never understood our family. My father's brother, Uncle Joe, who had always stayed out of family drama. Cousins I hadn't seen since my wedding. Friends of my parents who had known me since I was a baby. Some were supportive. I had no idea. I'm so sorry. You did the right thing. I always knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what. Some were angry. How could you embarrass your family like that? Your mother was just trying to help. You should be ashamed of yourself. Family doesn't do this to family.
Some were confused.
I don't understand. Is Lily really Hannah's baby? What happens now? Does Hannah still get to keep her degree? Some were curious. Can I call you? Can we talk? I have so many questions. I didn't respond to any of them. I turned off my phone. I couldn't. My brain was full. My heart was full. My hands were shaking. Lily fell asleep in the car. Her head rested against the window. Her mouth was slightly open. Her hand was wrapped around mine. Her fingers were small and soft and warm. She was breathing slowly, deeply, the way children breathe when they are safe. She was mine. In every way that mattered. She was mine. The law said so. The judge said so. Her birth certificate said so.
But the truth was out now.
The truth was in the world. The truth was in the ears of 100 people, and it would spread like wildfire. And I had no idea what would happen next. The drive home from the graduation party was the longest hour of my life. Mark didn't speak. I didn't speak. Lily slept in the back seat, her head tilted against her car seat, her mouth open, her small chest rising and falling with each breath. The road was dark. The headlights cut through the night like knives. The only sound was the hum of the engine and the occasional whoosh of a passing car. I couldn't stop thinking about the faces in the tent. The shock. The confusion. The pity. My mother's face, pale and stricken, frozen mid-smile like a photograph that had been torn in half. Her mouth had been open, ready to say something else, something more. But the words never came. They died on her tongue. My father's face, empty and lost, the way he always looked when my mother's plans fell apart. He had been standing behind her as always. In her shadow. In her wake. He had watched her destroy me, and he had said nothing. He had stood there, silent, useless, a man who had surrendered his voice decades ago. Hannah's face, wet with tears, her eyes begging me to stop, to take it back, to disappear back into the role I had played my whole life. She had been standing by the cake with her name on it, the cake that was supposed to be the centerpiece of her celebration. The cake she would never look at the same way again.
I didn't take it back.
I couldn't. The words had been spoken. The truth was out. There was no putting it back in the box. The box was broken. The lock was shattered. The key was gone. Mark pulled into our driveway. He turned off the engine. The silence was enormous. It filled the car, the yard, the house, the whole world. Do you want me to carry her? He asked.
No.
I've got her. I unbuckled Lily's car seat. She stirred but didn't wake. I carried her inside, up the stairs, into her room. The room we had painted yellow. The room with the decals of stars and moons on the walls. The room where she had taken her first steps, spoken her first words, dreamed her first dreams. I laid her in her bed. I pulled the blanket up to her chin. I kissed her forehead. She smelled like sunshine and baby shampoo and the faint sweetness of the cake she had eaten earlier. She smelled like innocence. She smelled like everything I was trying to protect. She smelled like the only good thing that had come from any of this. I closed her door. I walked downstairs. Mark was sitting on the couch, staring at the wall. What now? He asked. I don't know. Do we call them?
No.
Do we wait for them to call us? I don't know. Are you okay?
No.
He stood up. He walked over to me. He put his arms around me. He held me.
I didn't cry.
I couldn't. I had cried too much already.
My eyes were dry.
My throat was raw. My chest was hollow. We'll get through this, he said. Will we? Yes. How do you know? Because we've gotten through everything else. The first call came at 7 a.m. the next morning. I was sitting at the kitchen table, drinking coffee that had gone cold, staring at the wall. I hadn't slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my mother's face. Every time I opened them, I saw the tent, the cake, the 100 pairs of eyes staring at me. My phone buzzed. My mother's name appeared on the screen. I didn't answer. She called again, and again, and again. By 9 a.m., she had left 7 voicemails. I didn't listen to any of them. I couldn't. I knew what they would say. The same words she had always said. The same manipulations. The same guilt. The same family takes care of family. The same, I was just trying to help. The same, you've always been so dramatic. My father called at 10 a.m. He left 1 voicemail. His voice was quiet, tired, defeated. The voice of a man who had spent his whole life apologizing for his wife. Nora, your mother is beside herself. You need to call her. You need to fix this. Please. I deleted the voicemail. My phone buzzed again. A text from Hannah. Can we talk? Please. I typed back. I'm not ready. She typed. When will you be ready? I typed. I don't know. She typed. I love you. I didn't respond. The second call came from my Aunt Carol. She was my mother's younger sister. She had always been kind to me. She had always treated me like I mattered. She had sent me birthday cards when my mother forgot. She had come to my college graduation when my parents were too busy celebrating Hannah's spring break. She had asked me about my life, my work, my dreams. Nora, honey, how are you?
I'm okay, Aunt Carol.
You're not okay. No one who goes through what you went through is okay.
I'm surviving.
I heard what you said at the party. I heard your mother's toast. I heard everything. Are you calling to tell me I was wrong? I'm calling to tell you, I believe you. I started crying. Not the quiet tears of someone who is trying to hide. The loud, ugly tears of someone who has been holding everything in for too long, who has been pretending to be fine for years, who has finally been seen. I should have said something sooner, she said. I should have seen it. Your mother has always favored Hannah. I knew that. Everyone knew that. But I didn't know the extent. I didn't know about the adoption. I didn't know she forced you.
I didn't know any of it.
No one knew. She was careful. She's always been careful. She's always been good at hiding. She learned it from our mother. Grandma? Our mother was the same way. Controlling. Manipulative. Always playing favorites. Your mother learned from the best. Why didn't anyone say anything? Because it was easier not to. Because confronting her would have meant blowing up the family. Because we were scared. I'm tired of being scared. Then don't be. Tell your story. Let the chips fall where they may. What if the chips crush me? Then you get back up. You've been getting back up your whole life. You're stronger than you know. The days that followed were a blur. My mother continued to call. I continued to ignore her. She left voicemails that ranged from tearful to angry to desperate to resigned and back again. Please, Nora. We need to talk. We need to fix this. You're tearing this family apart. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry for everything. Please just call me back. If you don't call me back, I'm coming to your house. I swear I will. You've made your point. You've hurt me enough. Can we please just talk? I don't know what you want from me. I don't know how to make this right. I don't know anything anymore. She didn't come. Not yet. But I knew she would. It was only a matter of time. My father called once more. He didn't leave a voicemail. He just said, "Your mother is crying again," and hung up. As if her tears were my fault. As if her pain was my responsibility. As if I was the one who had done something wrong. Hannah texted every day. Short messages. Fragments. Pieces of sentences that trailed off into nothing. I'm sorry. I didn't know Mom was going to make that toast. I swear I didn't. I miss you. I miss Lily. I want to be a part of her life. I want to be a good aunt. I know I haven't been. I know I've been absent. I'm trying to be better. The last one made me angry. She wanted to be a part of Lily's life now. After 3 years of nothing? After 3 years of birthday cards sent late, if at all? After 3 years of 2-minute visits and empty promises and performative social media posts. After 3 years of living her life while I lived hers? I typed back. You had 3 years. You chose not to. She typed. I was scared. I typed, so was I. I stayed anyway. She didn't respond. The relatives started taking sides.
Some believed me.
My Aunt Carol, my cousin Jenna, my grandmother who called from Florida and said, I always knew your mother was difficult, but I didn't know she was cruel. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. I'm sorry I wasn't there. Some believed my mother, my father's sister who said, you shouldn't have embarrassed the family like that. Some things are private. You should have handled it differently. My mother's brother who said, your mother was just trying to help. You're being dramatic. You always have been. Some stayed neutral. They didn't call. They didn't text. They pretended nothing had happened. They were the worst. I didn't care. The people who mattered believed me. The rest were just noise. Mark was my rock. He went to work. He came home. He held me when I cried. He made dinner when I couldn't. He played with Lily when I was too tired to move. You're not alone, he said. You've never been alone. I feel alone. You're not. I'm here. Your Aunt Carol is here. Your grandmother is here. Lily is here. You have people who love you. It doesn't feel like enough. It will. Lily started asking questions. She was 3. She was curious. She was smart. She noticed things. She always had. Mama, why is Grandma sad? I didn't know how to answer.
I didn't want to lie.
I didn't want to tell the truth. The truth was too heavy for a 3-year-old. The truth was too heavy for anyone. Grandma is sad because she misses us. Why doesn't she come visit? I don't know, baby. Can we visit her? Not right now. Why not? Because Mama needs a break from Grandma. Lily nodded. She accepted the answer. She went back to her coloring. She was coloring a picture of a house. A yellow house with a red door and a blue sky and a sun with a smiley face. Our house. Our sky. Our sun. I watched her. Her dark hair. Her serious eyes. Her small hands carefully staying inside the lines. She was mine. In every way that mattered. She was mine. But she was also Hannah's. And one day, she would want to know the truth. One day, she would ask questions I couldn't avoid. One day, I would have to tell her. Not today. Today, she colored. Today, I watched. Today, we were safe. My mother showed up at my door on a Tuesday. I was in the living room, folding laundry. Lily was in the backyard, playing with the neighbor's dog. Mark was at work. The house was quiet. The sun was setting. The light was golden. The knock was sharp. Insistent. I knew it was her before I looked through the peephole. I had been expecting her for days. I had been dreading her for years. I opened the door. Nora. Mom. Can I come in?
No, please.
I need to talk to you. We have nothing to talk about. We have everything to talk about. I'm your mother. You're my daughter. We can't just. You can't just what? Pretend nothing happened? Pretend you didn't force me to adopt Hannah's baby? Pretend you didn't stand in front of 100 people and toast me like I was some kind of hero when you knew the truth. I was trying to honor you. You were trying to control the story. You were trying to make yourself look good. You were trying to make sure no one asked the wrong questions. You were trying to protect yourself. That's not true. It is true. It's always been true. You've been doing it my whole life. Controlling the narrative. Making sure everyone saw what you wanted them to see. Making sure no one knew what really happened in our house. My mother's eyes were red. She had been crying. She looked old. Tired. Broken. I'm sorry, she said. For what? For everything. For the adoption. For the toast. For not seeing how much I was hurting you. For not being the mother you deserved. Did Dad send you? Did Hannah? Or did you come on your own? I came on my own. Why now? Why not 3 years ago? Why not 10 years ago? Why not when I actually needed you? Why not when I was crying in my apartment because I didn't know how to say no? Because I wasn't ready. Ready for what? Ready to see myself. Ready to see what I had done. Ready to admit that I was wrong. I stepped aside. She walked into my house. She had never been here without an invitation. She had never been here at all. She looked around at the furniture, the photographs, the signs of a life she had never been part of. She looked at the photos of Lily on the wall. She looked at the drawing on the refrigerator. She looked at the small yellow house that was ours. Lily is in the backyard, I said. Can I see her?
No.
She's my granddaughter. She's my daughter. The words hung in the air.
True. False. Both.
Neither. The truth was more complicated than either of us wanted to admit. My mother sat down on the couch. She didn't ask permission. She just sat. She looked smaller than I remembered. Older. Frilier. Human. I've been seeing a therapist, she said. That's good. She says I have a problem with control. That I need to let go. That I can't keep trying to manage everyone's lives. That I need to let people make their own mistakes. She's right. I know. It's hard. I've been doing it for so long. I don't know how to stop. I don't know who I am without it. You start by apologizing. For real. Without excuses. Without justifications. Without, I was just trying to help. Without, I did what I thought was best. My mother was quiet for a moment. The clock ticked on the wall. The refrigerator hummed in the kitchen. I'm sorry for forcing you to adopt Hannah's baby. I'm sorry for not asking you what you wanted. I'm sorry for prioritizing Hannah's future over yours. I'm sorry for making you feel like you didn't matter. I'm sorry for making you feel like you were invisible. I waited. I'm sorry for the toast. I'm sorry for embarrassing you. I'm sorry for telling everyone you were a hero when what I really did was make you a victim. I'm sorry for taking the one moment that was supposed to be about Hannah and making it about me. I waited. I'm sorry for everything.
For all of it.
For the last 34 years. For every time I made you feel like you weren't enough. For every time I chose Hannah over you. For every time I made you feel like you were second. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. Do you forgive me? She asked. I don't know. I don't know if I can. Can you try? I've been trying my whole life, Mom. I'm tired of trying. She left. I watched her go. She didn't look back. Here's something I learned in the weeks after my mother came to my door. Forgiveness is not a moment. It's not a switch you flip. It's not something you decide to do one day and then it's done. It's a process. A long, slow, painful process of learning to trust again. Of learning to believe that someone can change. Of learning to let go of the anger that has been keeping you warm for years. I didn't forgive my mother on that Tuesday when she sat on my couch and apologized. That was just the beginning. I forgave her in small moments. When she called and actually listened to my answers instead of planning her response. When she asked about Lily and didn't try to offer unsolicited advice. When she admitted that she had been wrong, not just about the adoption but about everything. I forgave her in waves. Some days I felt nothing but love for her. Other days I felt nothing but rage. Both feelings were real. Both feelings were valid. My father continued to be silent. He didn't call. He didn't visit. He didn't apologize. He had spent his whole life hiding behind my mother, and he was still hiding. I didn't know if he would ever find his voice. I didn't know if he wanted to. Hannah reached out one more time. A month after the graduation party, Hannah showed up at my door. She was alone.
No boyfriend. No parents. No entourage.
Just her, in jeans and a sweater, her hair pulled back, her face bare of makeup. She looked younger than her age. She looked scared. Nora. Hannah. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked into my house. She looked around at the furniture, the photographs, the signs of a life she had never been part of. She stopped in front of a photo of Lily on the wall. Lily at age 1, covered in birthday cake. Lily at age 2, holding a dandelion. Lily at age 3, laughing at something Mark had said. She's beautiful, Hannah said. She is. She looks like you. I know. Hannah turned to face me. Her eyes were wet.
I'm sorry.
I know I've said that before. I know it doesn't make up for anything. But I'm sorry. Why are you here, Hannah? Because I want to know her. I want to be part of her life. I want to be her aunt. A real aunt. Not the one who shows up twice a year and posts pictures on Instagram. You had 3 years. You could have been part of her life anytime. You chose not to. I was scared. Of what? Of loving her. Of wanting her back. of not being able to let go. So you let go completely. I thought it was easier. Was it?
No.
We stood in silence. The clock ticked on the wall. The refrigerator hummed in the kitchen. I'm not going to let you walk in and out of her life whenever it's convenient for you, I said. If you want to be her aunt, you have to be consistent. You have to show up. You have to be reliable. You can't disappear when things get hard. I know. You have to explain to her who you are. Eventually, when she's old enough to understand. I know. You have to accept that she might be angry. She might not want a relationship with you. She might blame you for giving her away. Hannah started crying. I know. And you have to accept that I'm her mother.
Not you. Me.
I'm the one who raised her. I'm the one who stayed up with her when she was sick. I'm the one who taught her to walk and talk and sing. I'm her mother. Hannah nodded. I know. Then we can try. The first visit was awkward. Hannah came to our house on a Saturday afternoon. She brought a gift, a stuffed rabbit, soft and white, with long floppy ears. Lily loved it. She named it Hop Hop and carried it everywhere. Hannah didn't know what to say to a 3-year-old. She sat on the floor and watched Lily play. She asked questions. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite animal? Do you like to sing? Lily answered. She showed Hannah her drawings. She showed Hannah her room. She showed Hannah the spot in the backyard where she had buried her dead goldfish. Hannah laughed. A real laugh. The first real laugh I had heard from her in years. She's amazing, Hannah said after Lily went to bed. She is. You're doing a good job. I'm trying. I know. The visits became regular. Once a month, sometimes twice. Hannah showed up. She played with Lily. She read her stories. She helped her with puzzles. She learned her favorite songs. Lily started asking questions. Mama, who is Hannah? She's your aunt. My sister. Why don't we see her all the time? She lives far away. Oh. Lily accepted the answer. For now. My mother and I continued to talk on the phone. Weekly calls. Short at first. Awkward. The way calls are when two people are trying to find their way back to each other. But they got longer. The silences got shorter. We started talking about real things. Not just the weather. Not just Lily. Real things. Why did you favor Hannah? I asked one night. I don't know. Think about it. She needed me more. You didn't. You were always so independent. So capable. I didn't think you needed me. What about what I needed? I didn't think about that. I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. I'm trying to be better, she said. I know. My father called on a Sunday. His voice was quiet, hesitant. Nora. Dad. Your mother tells me you've been talking.
We have. I'm glad.
Are you? I'm trying to be. What does that mean? It means I'm trying to understand. Trying to see what I did wrong. Trying to be better. You stood by and watched, Dad. For 34 years. You watched her hurt me, and you said nothing. You were a ghost in your own house. I know. Do you have any idea what that did to me? To know that my father saw everything and did nothing. I'm sorry. Sorry isn't enough. I know, but it's where I am. My father started coming to visit. Not often. Once every few months. He would sit on the couch and watch Lily play. He would ask about my work. He would avoid talking about my mother. It wasn't the relationship I had dreamed of as a child. It wasn't the father I had wanted. But it was something. A beginning. Lily turned 4. We had a party in the backyard. Balloons.
Cake.
A piñata shaped like a unicorn. Hannah came. My mother came. My father came. My Aunt Carol came. It was strange. The first time we had all been in the same room since the graduation party. The air was thick with unspoken words. Everyone was careful. No one mentioned the adoption. No one mentioned the toast. No one mentioned anything. Lily didn't notice. She was too busy eating cake and chasing her friends. After the party, my mother helped me clean up. She washed dishes. I dried. Thank you for coming, I said. Thank you for inviting me. She had a good time. She's a happy child. You've done a good job. Thank you. My mother put down her dish towel. Nora, I know I've said this before, but I'm proud of you. For what? For everything. For surviving. For raising Lily. For being a better mother than I ever was.
I didn't know what to say.
I mean it, she said. I'm proud of you. Here's what I learned. You can't change people who don't want to change. You can't save people who don't want to be saved. You can't love people who don't know how to love. My mother is trying. She's not perfect. She's not the mother I needed. She may never be. But she's trying. And trying is more than she ever did before. My father is trying too.
Slowly. Painfully.
He's learning to speak after a lifetime of silence. He's learning to be present after a lifetime of absence.
Hannah is trying.
She's learning to be an aunt. She's learning to be present. She's learning to be accountable. I am trying. I'm learning to forgive. I'm learning to trust. I'm learning to let go of the anger that has been keeping me warm for years. Family is not about blood. It's about who shows up, who stays, who loves you without conditions. I have a family now, not the one I was born into, not the one I dreamed of, but the one I chose. And it is enough. Last week, Lily asked me a question. Mama, is Hannah my real aunt? Yes, baby. She's my sister. Then, why does she look like me? I took a breath. I had been waiting for this question for years. Because we're family. Families sometimes look alike. Does she have a baby too? No, baby. She doesn't. Oh. Lily went back to her coloring. I watched her. Her dark hair. Her serious eyes. Her small hands carefully staying inside the lines. She was mine. In every way that mattered, she was mine. Someday, I would tell her the truth. Someday, she would know that Hannah was more than her aunt. Someday, she would have questions I couldn't avoid. Not today. Today, she colored.
Today, we were happy.
Subscribe for more stories about family, betrayal, and the courage to build something new. Thank you for listening.